Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. That's the sound of Annalie Prime there, setting her sight on an immortal dream. And this morning, I'm joined by two ladies who are going to set their sight on a dream that is quite possible and hopeful. They are actually from the Hope and Action Network. I want to welcome live in studio the Secretary of the Hope and Action Network, Ms. Akeisha Alexis St. Hilaire, as well as on Zoom, the founder of Hope and Action Network, Dr. Joan Bob Ward. Good morning to you, Dr. Bob Ward.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, I want to start with you, Doctor. Tell me, why did you guys decide to found the Hope and Action Network, and what is it really about?
We looked at society and some of the things that are happening, the decreasing levels of respect for human beings and life and property, disrespect for persons in high office. We looked at violence against women and men, and we decided that we should do something about it. Usually when things happen, people march and react and then it's over. But we felt that we needed to get in and be proactive in some respects and in some respects reactive as well. Mm-hmm. But we want to lay a foundation. We want to send a positive message to everyone that it is not right to disrespect property and life to people.
All right. So, Akeisha, tell me how you guys are going to go about achieving this.
Sure. We have a Facebook page that we disseminate information to try to empower especially women and girls at this point. Mm-hmm. Firstly, we started with ourselves. So we are an organization that consists of 9 groups. So we have different teams of women who are most qualified, most directly involved in these areas. So we have our two education teams, one an in-reach team and outreach team. So we first work on ourselves. Our education in-reach team is going to work on us, empower us as women first, because we are a group of about 44 women. Empower ourselves first, make sure that we are comfortable to then go out and further empower other women. So we have another group for education outreach. We have a group that is, or a team that, well, myself, secretary, we have special needs team, because we have persons who are very heavily involved in special needs, social events and social issues. That's just to name some of the themes. So we have 9 teams that we work with. And among these teams, we have persons who, like I said, specialize in different areas. And we will work together, all of these areas, to try to accomplish these goals. So right now we do Facebook. We do Facebook messages, WhatsApp messages to persons with and outside of our groups. We meet every month in order to put together the way forward in how we're going to go about to achieve our objective as an organization.
All right. Dr. Joan Bob Ward, sorry. I'm intrigued because, like, one of the things Natalie was speaking about earlier was that, you know, there's so many NGOs in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm curious as to why not partner with an existing NGO that already exists rather than form your own?
Our focus is on empowerment. And yes, there are many organizations in Trinidad and Tobago, and we are partnering with some of them. For example, Randall Fields spoke at our launch, and we in Tobago, there is an umbrella, an association of gender support groups, and we are affiliated with that group. There are things that we will be able to do, there are things we will not be able to do. For example, when we get to the point where we address our boys, as women, we do not want to do that by ourselves. So we have partnered with female examples now. Michael Stewart is the leader. So when we have issues related to boys that we want to address, we are going to do it through those groups. So yes, we are partnering. And we, as women, recognize that the boys are seeing their teachers, their Sunday school teachers, the police officers now, police stations, all manned by women. And so it appears as though women are consuming them. So this is one of the main reasons why we decided to partner. We also partner with women of substance in Tobago. So if there are issues that we encounter that we cannot handle as a group, we pass it on to Onika Mars. So we are not moving out there on our own, and we are not duplicating what is taking place already. We are supporting, and we have the support of other organizations.
Okay, well, that's great to hear. Akeisha, tell me, how has the response been from, communicating with people via WhatsApp, via Facebook Messenger, those meetings that you've been having? What's the response like from people?
Okay, so far persons are really excited about the initiative. And just going back to the question you would have asked Dr. Ward, there are so many different organizations doing thereabout similar things, but all unique in their own sense, and for us, we have a lot of women coming forward to talk about, abuse and the abuse that they would have faced and encountered. And so it's really important that, each of us in our small pockets, we deal with this issue. I mean, violence against women, violence against girls, and these are very important issues that we must deal with.
Do you guys have trained psychologists working with you all?
We have, I can't say that we have trained psychologists, but we have social workers working with us.
So what happens if somebody comes forward and they talk about their abuse, for example? What's the next step for that person?
Okay, so right now we have social workers that we deal with, and we partner with other organizations. So we're not trying to do everything on our own. We can also recommend you to other persons who can help you. But we are here to highlight a cause that is affecting and plaguing our society.
All right, so Dr. Ward, tell me, what's the next step for Hope and Action Network?
Hope and Action Network has plans to address the issues that we highlighted earlier. We are moving forward aggressively to share the messages that we believe the society needs to hear. Society is bombarded with messages from everywhere, and these messages influence behavior. So we have decided, yes, everybody's on Facebook Live. We will have Facebook Live posts as well. And we will highlight the positives. We will show alternative means of addressing conflict, of resolving issues. So if your wife does not cook, the solution is not to go home and beat her because she's your wife and she did not cook. But we will be showing what could be done, how the wife could be supported, how the husband could be supported. We also have a plan to address taxi drivers and their responsibilities to their passengers, because we saw that there were abductions and the like. So we have prepared a brochure which we want to share with them. We also programs such as these, highlighting issues in the print and electronic media. We also want to go to schools with our plans and with our initiatives, youth groups, the police youth clubs, church youth groups, and any organization that has an influence or an impact on the way people behave. So we have laid out our plans, and we will be rolling out shortly, because the message needs to get out there. Our voice must be heard. We want to empower so that we can assist in having the society turn around.
Now, I definitely agree that the message needs to get out there and society needs to hear this message. My concern, though, Dr. Ward, is how do you get the perpetrators of these things, the men involved in situations where, like the one you described, you go home and beat your wife if something goes wrong with the rest of the day, or whatever, people who aren't able to resolve conflict positively. How do you get to them, get them to pay attention to your message in the midst of all the other messages that surround us?
Okay, we will press on. We may not be able to reach everyone, but when people hear something often enough, they begin to think about it.
Yeah.
And this is why we want to be out there, sending these positive messages. We do not want to approach them, with any accusatory kinds of messages, but we will go out there and send soft messages to them. And hopefully someone will pay attention. Sometimes we hear things and at first we do not respond, but sometimes in the wee hours of the morning, 3 a.m. thoughts, 2 a.m., people reflect, people look at themselves, people remember things that happened during the day. And we believe that we will gradually be able to impact these perpetrators. But the ones who are not perpetrators, the young ones, the young women, the young men, those who have not gotten into this, this situation, we want to prevent them.
Okay. And you know what they say? Prevention is better than cure. And prevention is always better than cure. Well, I want to thank you ladies for joining us this morning. Akisha, any closing words before we go?
Yes, definitely. At the end of it all, we just want to highlight and to make sure that people understand that violence against women, against girls, men even, and vice versa, men and boys, is not okay. And that is something that we need to make sure and reinforce in our society. Violence is not okay in all forms.
We had Freetown Collective on the show last week, and they said that conflict is inevitable, but violence is a choice.
Exactly.
I want to thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having
and representing the Hope on Action Network. We take a quick break, and when we come back, we have more inside the Now Morning Show. Stay tuned.